In the years leading up to the fall of 1984, horror had been anything but dead or dull. Movies like Cujo, Sleepaway Camp, The Dead Zone, and Christine were out, and horror franchises like Halloween and Friday the 13th were flourishing. But the fall of 1984 was going to be different. Writer-director Wes Craven was gaining real traction at this point, but hadn't fully broken through. November 9th, 1984 was going to be different for him, though. On that day, Wes was ready to introduce the world to a friend of his. A friend he had met 3 years prior. A friend by the name of Freddy Kreuger. From the horror show and Bloody Disgusting, this is Serial Killer. Hello everybody and welcome to The Horror Show, the show that dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not so favorite horror movies and other horror-related events. I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
I forget if we even leave that in for Serial Killer or not. I don't know. I'll have to go back and relook at it. I know I do the intro.
I forgot we were doing Serial Killer.
This is Serial Killer.
How about that?
Look at that. We're back. Our first segment that's returned in like full form.
Ever.
Pretty much. I think we've done other ones because I remember being like, hey, look what we did again. But that was it.
Wait, what?
No,
Creature Features. Part 3s?
No, it wasn't nothing like this. It was like little segment. It was something we did. I don't know. Well, this was whatever. Welcome back. Welcome to Serial Killer. Last year we covered, what did we cover last year? Tobe Hooper. That was a fucking nightmare.
That sure was.
That I'm more excited about this year.
Well, it's a smaller set of movies.
Yeah, it's much smaller. Tobe Hooper's filmography is huge for some reason. He could cut that down by like 10 movies.
At least.
Be a decent resume.
Yeah.
Yes. This year we are doing the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. We're going to look through all of the movies, including Freddy vs. Jason and
the remake.
And the remake, which I am excited to hate again.
I saw it in theaters.
I think I did too.
It's gross.
We're so stupid.
Yeah, I know.
Like, why would we? I mean, I guess it's the same reason we do this show, right? It's the same reason we're like, you know what we should watch? Inseminoid. That looks like a great time.
We should watch it.
I know, it's been on my list forever. It's the same reason we all sat around and watched Dead Body Man.
Spermula?
Is that a movie?
Yeah.
Is it about a Dracula sperm?
I assume so. It's called Spermula. I'm going to look it up right now.
Serial Killer's canceled. So this year we are doing, like I said, the Friday and the...
No,
I
not.
always say that. I had to edit. We are doing the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So last year, I guess we're not really serial killer. We're not here to like actually tell you information you don't know. Our information is probably going to be pulled from a total of like 5 sources. But it's just fun to talk about these movies together and kind of get like a bigger picture.
Is Serial still a thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So last year we did Hooper, and it was pretty much like when people saw his name online, it was like, legend, what a fucking, the greatest director that's ever, like, you know what I mean? Like you see an Instagram post with him in it, and it's like, fucking legend, which he is, I guess. I mean, just for creating Texas
Chainsaw honestly should put him on that.
Yeah. But I mean, you know what
People
I mean?
love Poltergeist.
People don't think about the rest of it. Like, it's not like sports where you look at like the whole career.
What have you done for me lately?
People are content in movie, which is so weird. People are totally content with one good movie in the 70s and one good movie that Steven Spielberg actually directed in the 80s. And people are like,
it's not even a good movie.
Well, yeah, you and me know that. The rest of the world hasn't figured it out yet. But you know what I mean? Like people somehow were okay with that. And they're like if you were like, Tobe Hooper's not that good, they'd be like, Chainsaw, Poltergeist, fuck you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And it's crazy that you can do that. So this year we're looking at Nightmare franchise, and we're looking kind of at a similar thing. As a franchise, it gets a ton of credit where rightfully so, especially the Wes Craven entries. But are the rest of the movies good? Are they bad? Like, what the fuck happened to the franchise? Because something definitely changes. We can say it that much this far. And, I mean, even from 1 to 2.
Say it after the first one.
It's a real interesting series, and I'll give props to Tioni W, who like asked us to do this like
3 years ago.
Yeah, like pretty much at the beginning. Like she sent us a message and was like, "Please do every Nightmare movie ever." And I was like, "Oh, that would be pretty good."
Yeah,
and we've sat on it, and it was this one. So, you're welcome, Tioni.
One time in college, me and Daniel watched every Nightmare back to back to back.
Back to
One
back to
sitting.
back.
It sucked.
I can imagine. 1 through 3 was kind of rough. I'm excited to talk about these. I'm super excited to get back into this shit. All right. So yeah, we're trying to figure this out. We're going to try and figure out what happens. Did the franchise die at some point? When did everyone get sick of Freddy? How did Freddy become a fucking merchandise machine?
That is bizarre.
That's insane. And we're asking you guys, make sure you email me, Sean@IHateHorror.com, and tell us your nightmare memories with Nightmare on Elm Street. Dude, everyone saw this at like age 6. Everyone's emailed me, including our friend Mike. It's like, yeah, my dad used to show this to me when I was like 5 and 6. I was like, it's not good. This is terrifying. And yeah. And so we're doing the first 3 movies, which might be the most interesting episode just because
I'm way more excited to do the next 3.
I actually am too, but the most common thing I hear is 1 and 3. 1 and 3 are good. Everything else is dog shit. And I don't know. I'm curious to see how that pans out because
spoiler alert, it's true.
It kind of. After doing these first 3, were you like super impressed with 3 still?
Well, we had watched 3 recently.
Yeah.
For our part 3's episode, and I was impressed then. Like
I was impressed
compared to all the other part 3's.
I was impressed. Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Going from
It's a little boring, I thought.
3 is?
Yeah.
After watching part 2?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are.
Because
2's exciting in the sense that
that's not a word.
nothing makes sense. Dude, there's dancing. Our friend Mike called it the dance scene the greatest scene in film history.
Our friend Mike's an idiot.
All right, so before we get into these movies, we're going to talk about some facts here. All this stuff, guys, I basically took from this Never Sleep Again documentary. It's on Netflix. It's about 5.5 hours long, but it documents everything. But they've got some cool facts on it, so check it out. And also check out, there's an oral history on Nightmare on Elm Street on Vulture. That's pretty cool. So again, we're not going to cite them because we're lazy. So that's where we stole everything from.
You just cited him.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite one of these, by the way?
Favorite movie?
Yeah, out of the franchise.
Oh yeah, it's 1.
It is 1?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay. Mine is 1 right now.
Fair.
Or you know what? It might be, what's New Nightmare? Is that what it's called? New Nightmare?
Yeah.
New Nightmare.
The metal one? Yeah, Wes Craven's New Nightmare?
Yeah, New Nightmare. I don't know why that sounded weird. That's pretty close to me, though. I really like
When's
that
the last
one.
time you watched it?
Long time.
So
that's why I'm curious.
Yeah.
So Wes Craven gets this idea from a bunch of Asian guys. Cambodians?
Yes.
They show Japanese news clipping. But yeah, you're right, because Wes Craven was appropriate when he was like, I read an article on the LA Times. They were from the Asian Rim. I was like, what the fuck's Asian Rim? But instead of looking it up, I just followed this stupid documentary which showed a newspaper of a Japanese boy dead.
No, they were the Khmer Rouge refugees that migrated to the Americas, and in over a 3-year period, 3 members of the group of refugees died in the exact same way.
Yeah, and they were finding, like, they wouldn't sleep. They gave them like sleeping medication. And then they'd hear screaming in the middle of the night. They'd run in and the kid would fucking die.
Yes.
And they found like the sleeping pills. They weren't taking them. They were stashing them under the bed. They found coffee machines in the closet. Fucking crazy. Great idea.
Called Asian Death Syndrome.
Oh, well, that's
It's under the umbrella of SUDS, the Sudden Unexpected Death Syndrome.
well,
So have fun, everybody.
that's the show. Yeah, and then he also mentioned that the idea of Freddy Kreuger came because he was a little boy and he looked out his window and some guy was walking by and turned at him and just like growled at him. So he like ducked, obviously, like it was a high window, ducked, then was like, oh, let me check if he's gone. Looked up and the guy was face up against the window.
That's the most terrifying thing I've ever heard.
Dude, I know. I was fucking terrified. And Wes, of course, is just like telling it. I'm like, I'd be crying retelling that. He's like, yeah, it's kind of weird that he got such joy out of terrifying a little kid. It's like, yeah, that's a major problem. You probably should have told your parents.
He named him Freddy Kreuger because there's a bully that picked on him.
Yeah.
He also named Krug from Last House on the Left after him, too.
Oh, that's cool.
So that guy must have been such a piece of shit.
Yeah,
He named two terrible people after him. Did you see that the song Dreamweaver also inspired this movie?
No, but that is stupid. Dreamweaver.
Well, the beginning of the song Dreamweaver is like those, I don't know what you call them, bells. It's like atmospheric. And that's how it's kind of how the theme song came about.
Pretty cool. But yeah, and then so he gets this idea, he writes it down.
Dude, hold on. This movie would have been so much better if that song played every time he appeared.
I have a better one.
Like slow motion, like in Wayne's World.
I know how to make 2 a better movie and a better ending.
With Dreamweaver?
No, different song.
What song?
We'll get there.
Jump by Van Halen?
No, although I'll take that. Everybody jump! Jump! Go ahead. No, it's a good one. So he writes his script. No one wants to make it because the excuse is, well, it's all in their dreams, so it's not scary. Fucking dumbest shit I've ever heard of. Like, have they never had a bad dream? It's fucking terrifying. Goes around Hollywood for 3 years before Bob Shea and New Line Cinemas finally pick it up. And the rest is history after that. Freddy was supposed to be an old man originally, based on that old guy, which is pretty cool. And they're talking about it in this documentary, and they ask Robert Englund about getting the part finally. Robert Englund's like, oh, well, like he's acting like he was too big. I'm going to shit talk Robert Englund a ton on this. He's just such an asshole in this documentary. I'm sorry. He's such a dickhead. And if we ever got famous enough where he'd hear this, I'm going to be really embarrassed because I don't think, he seems like a really nice guy, but he's just such a stupid dickhead. He's such a stupid dickhead. And so he's acting like, so they were going to cast David Warner in the role originally. David Warner pulls out. And then they're like, okay, well, what about this guy, Robert Englund? Cut to Robert Englund in the documentary, who's acting like he was like still busy back then. Like he's not like, oh yeah, I was really excited because I had done nothing. Okay, I had literally done fucking nothing except Tobe Hooper fucking Eaten Alive movies. But instead, he's like, yeah, I was actually really preoccupied with my first bout of success with V.
The miniseries?
Miniseries. And then they cut to a clip of. Looks like a geek. He looks like a member of like Devo.
Well, that's what he looked like in Eaten Alive, remember?
Yeah. He's an idiot. And then he's like, yeah, I used Klaus Kinski as my influence
for Freddy.
Him and a gangster, a guy, Jimmy Cagney.
Oh,
yeah. He's like, that was my influence for Freddy Kreuger. It's like, oh,
wait, he acts nothing like him.
Of course not. Joe, he's an idiot. We're watching this documentary while we do it. It's pretty great. And that's it. I think that highlights everything.
I love that he drew from those 2 influences, and the production design of Freddy's costume was just drawn from a pepperoni pizza. Dude, that's what they said.
That's the funny part about this movie, I think. Like, even in this documentary, you'll see some people taking it very seriously, like Robert Englund, who's like, oh, yes, I studied very hard, and I walked with a limp in this scene because the glove was really heavy. Dude, you're just a wimp. You need to go to the fucking gym. Like, you're not doing that as a choice. Like, you can't lift.
Anyway, he's claiming that glove with the knives on it was too heavy.
He said it was so heavy, it pulled his arm down, and then he was like, oh, but then he was like, oh, wait, this is genius. I'll just leave. Like, that's why he kind of walks like,
there's no
lopsided.
way that's physically true. How can it be that heavy?
Joe, I don't know. But that's what he says. There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. Wes Craven got zero money. In this documentary, you learned he gave the rights to the character to New Line in order to just make the movie. So he got zero money from the sequels, zero money from merchandising.
Damn.
And then 10 years later, Bob called him, Bob Shea from New Line, and was like, oh, we want you to make another movie, which must have been 10 years, must have been New Nightmare, right?
10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
95, 94.
Yeah. So it's New Nightmare, and we want you to make another Freddy movie, even though we killed him off in the last sequel. And Wes Craven was like, yeah, it's fine, but I want all the royalties from the sequels and the merchandising retroactively. So, like, go back and give me all my fucking money from 2 on. And that's what he got. So,
good for him.
Yeah. I mean, that's, that doesn't happen to everyone, though. Actually, Wes is the only guy that pulled that off, I'm pretty sure.
Did you see the people that auditioned for Nancy's role? And in part 2, the people that auditioned for it's crazy.
Yeah, Brad Pitt and somebody
Christian
else
Slater,
Christian
and
Slater.
John Stamos for part 2. Yeah, the 3 of them.
And then for Nancy, it was like
it's Courtney Cox, Demi Moore, Jennifer Grey, and the girl from Growing Pains.
Yeah, and that comes up a lot too in this documentary. And basically, everyone's like, well, every director, if a director tells you they hired all the best, they're lying. Like everyone passes up on future good talent. Man, Nightmare did it a lot.
Is their MO?
Recklessly. Like Depp, they just got lucky in.
Yeah, but he barely did anything in part 1.
I know. He's good, though. I liked watching him.
But Depp was he already in 21 Jump Street at this point?
I don't know. He's really young in this. Yeah. I mean, I know he was young in 21 Jump Street, but he looks like a baby in this. Take a look at that.
I will.
And we should also note, we're going to explore all these movies and rip on all of them. So hopefully the Nightmare fans don't come out and like chop our dicks off.
I don't have too much negative to say about part 1.
I don't have either, but I mean, there's fans that love it all, and they just have a hardcore fan base. Elm Street, the Elm Street gang. Yeah. Like we don't have to worry about Luther the Geek fans burning down our house. The fuck did you just say? Did you hear what these assholes said about Luther the Geek?
I wouldn't be mad.
You hear what these fucking idiots had to say about Luther the Geek? So Nightmare on Elm Street 1, written and directed by Wes Craven himself, of course. I don't think I need to say that. How do we want to do these? I really want to talk about 2. We've talked about 3.
Yeah, let's focus on 2 the most. I mean, we could just go through some likes, dislikes about part 1.
Yeah, I mean, so
major plot points.
Yeah, you've got your origin story with Nancy. What's her last name?
Thompson.
Nancy Thompson. Johnny Depp. Glenn. Is Glenn the guy that's like, hey, what's going on? An orgy or something?
Johnny's Glenn.
Oh, Johnny's Glenn.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Who's the
Rod?
Rod. Rod's the best.
Everything Rod says is insane.
Yeah. And then wait.
Just up yours with a twirling lawnmower. I don't even know what that means.
Everything he says. Woke up with a heart on with your name on it.
Her comeback
is the best.
One of the best burns in movie
all time. Yeah, all fucking time, dude. All fucking time. How can you fit 4 letters on your joint? Also, calling it a joint is pretty fucking awesome. That's some good fucking writing. God bless you, Wes Craven.
After the police are looking for Rod because they think he killed Tina.
Yeah.
He's telling Nancy, he's like, I didn't do it. I'm innocent. You got to believe me. And then he immediately goes, so don't treat me like I'm some kind of fruitcake, all right? And he threatens her. Like that's not what you want to be doing if you're trying to convince someone you're innocent.
It's so weird. There's definitely some character. There's I don't know how to explain it. There's some warts on the first one. Rewatching it, through our lens.
I think if you showed an adult this movie now in 2017 that had never seen it before, they might be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
yeah.
Because
I agree.
I loved it. I've always loved it. And I think that, like, you know, just the nostalgia also helps that. Like, I'm not going to say anything bad about it because it meant so much to me. I think the acting's pretty rough.
The acting's rough.
Like, I know that they're all very new.
Some of the effects are a little rough. Dude, the arms in the alley.
Okay, that's my biggest problem.
One of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
It's so long. Like that wavy guy that's at the car mart.
Yeah. It's so fucking... and I mean, the end.
And that scene's infuriating because everything is creepy until his arms are big. Like, it's just fog everywhere.
Right.
And you hear, like, laughing. You see, like, animals running, and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, it has a great atmosphere. And then he has the arms long, and he ruins it by running. He runs like the biggest idiot. Like, somebody who's never run before.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, Robert Englund, I don't think is an athletic man.
I mean, if he thinks, like, love is heavy.
Well, like, they bring up a good point I've heard, which is almost every killer in a movie has been a stunt guy. They weren't actors in the makeup. It was stunt guys. Like, Jason was a stunt guy. Like, those guys are just huge.
But this was Robert.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, like, you know, those guys are athletic. They're big and strong. They can, like, do shit.
Right, and that's their job.
And move.
Yeah.
Robert Englund is a fucking thespian. All right? Like, that's what it boils down
That
to.
is a good point, and that makes me respect him a little bit more, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, he's an actor. Like, he's not a fucking...
It's very easy to shit on him,
He's
but
not
if you dress me up like that, I'm probably not going to be able to run that agile.
Fucking Kane Hodder is, like, a monster.
Yes.
Like, he probably hits the gym daily. Robert Englund... He said the glove was too heavy. A fucking glove with like some razor blades on it. So it's a real interesting way to look at it. But yeah, some of these effects, like that arm scene, it's just so funny. And it is. It's like such a classic scene. But
that scene's not classic to me. But that scene where Nancy falls asleep in the school and sees like Tina's body bag. That's awesome. I fucking love it.
Awesome.
And I love, like, I know you don't like the movie Fog, but I always feel like horror movies, like when they utilize fog, it just adds to the atmosphere.
I'm cool with that, yeah.
And this movie was misty as fuck, and I loved it.
I just don't like the bad guy being Fog.
I mean, it was Ghost Pirates. It was not the Fog.
I know. I feel like they were like, dude, you can't make the bad guy Fog. Just throw some pirates in at the end.
I don't think that's what happened. I feel like the pirates were integral to the plot.
Yeah, they really were. It's like all about their one goal.
In fact, I'm pretty sure the movie starts with the guy telling the myth of the pirates.
Oh, man. Oh, also, another great scene is like, yeah, this movie's weird. And now here's another thing that we can consider with it is Bob Shea was the president of New Line, constantly butting into Wes Craven's work in this. Like from these documentaries, from oral histories you read, he was bad. Like, let me do this. Like the scene where she's running up the stairs with the fucking, and like she's falling into the, it's like the carpet's mush.
Getting stuck, yeah.
Wes Craven was like, I hate that scene. Didn't want it. And Bob Shea, then it cuts to Bob Shea in the documentary. He's like, yeah, I thought, I saw that in one of my dreams once. So I thought it'd be cool. So I just threw the idea out there. I was like, you didn't just throw the idea out there. I wouldn't be in it. Wes Craven just said how bad it was. He's like, I didn't want to do it. So there was definitely some shit in there.
Also, who dreams about things like that?
He was like, it was scary.
Can't get upstairs fast. I heard that the remake, while I'm not a fan, was almost like more in lines to what Wes Craven originally wanted it to be.
That's what I've read.
Like the look of Freddy is how he wanted Freddy to look. Yeah,
that's interesting. I mean, he definitely. Well, we'll save it for when we get down there. But I'm interested to talk about that. But like Freddy was supposed to be a child molester.
Yes.
Always was. And then there was like those like McCormick, I think it was called, the McCormick rapes, and it was like it's like a school just molesting and raping kids like systematically in the school. And then they were like, you know what, let's
tone that back a little. Yeah.
This isn't fun. It's just got a whole lot less fun. But yeah, and you know what, an interesting thing about this first one, not a lot of Freddy. Like, well, I shouldn't say not a lot of Freddy.
He's not the Freddy
not
that
a lot of dialogue.
Yeah. He's not
chirping. He's not fucking like.
No, in fact, when he does talk, it's super effective. Like when he says, "This is God," and holds up his hands.
Yeah. And yeah, again, that school scene, the first, not the first kill. Oh, is it the first?
Yeah, the first kill's great.
In the room?
Yes.
Dude.
The only
That's
thing that sucks
insane.
about it is Idiot Rod being like, "Who did this?" Like, there's nobody in there, Rod.
Yeah. And again, that's kind of where like those are like some of the warts in it. Like the craziest thing is like all these crazy murders, which like if you made it now, no one would be in the room with them. And then they'd walk into the room and be like, "What the fuck happened?" But in all these scenes, there's somebody watching. And it's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then there's still somehow like, "I think Rod did it." It's like, you just watched her floating on the ceiling getting stabbed to death. Like,
I don't think they saw that.
not that one,
just
but
Rod.
there's
Yeah,
other ones
right.
where they're like in the room and they're like, "Ooh."
Well, with Johnny Depp's death, his mom's watching, just blood being shot from the bed to the ceiling.
Yeah, and I don't know, I'm not going to quote it, but she's like, she got a look on her face like, I want to know who's responsible for this. Clearly something supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they said there's like all these effects that they did in it. There were tons of issues, like injuries, and like nothing went right. And the rotating is like this giant rotating cube that they used for it.
I saw that.
Like Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
And they also used that in Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah.
Nice.
He's like walking on the side of the house. I was like, oh, that's cute. The body bag scene in the school again is like, it's awesome. The hall monitor, the subtle like Freddy shit, like
She's wearing
the sweaters and stuff, and it's really cool. And it's not so subtle. It's right there.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, let's talk about the end for a second, just because I got to tell you this. At the end, Nancy gets in a car and it's painted in Freddy stripes. The fucking hood of the car is Freddy stripes, right? It's obviously. In this fucking documentary, somebody had the balls to be like, who knows if the car's Freddy or not?
It's Freddy.
Of course it's Freddy.
It also locks and drives away with them.
Yes.
The fact that they're like all screaming.
Yeah.
Because they can't get out.
And they recorded like 10 different endings, I
saw
guess.
that,
But they were all kind of similar.
Did you see how fast they ran out of money?
No.
They ran out in 2 weeks.
Dude.
They spent their entire budget.
Do you know what the budget was on it?
I don't have it written down, no.
All right.
Do you?
No.
Okay. Well,
So Nightmare is the best song, right?
Nightmare's the what?
Nightmare on Elm Street. It's got the best theme song, right?
Of all movies?
I like it. Yeah.
More than Halloween?
Yeah.
Mm.
I like it a lot.
Well, it did get turned into a sweet Fresh Prince.
Oh, it's the fucking best.
Halloween probably my favorite, but Nightmare's top 3.
Okay.
Phantasm.
And I was also thinking we should rate the final battles as we go.
Okay.
P.S. They're all the same.
The budget was 1.8 million.
1.8 million.
So
It's pretty high.
Blew that in 2 weeks for an independent film.
Yeah, because they like New Line had no money.
Holy shit, that's high.
New Line had like they were like
Especially in 1984.
he like put up his house and shit. Bob Shea.
Could you imagine telling your wife that? Hey, me and Joe are making a movie. So
it's about this fucking guy that got burnt up and now he diddles kids in their dreams and then cuts them up. Kids are gonna love it. You're gonna get a real kick out of it. No,
which oddly enough they did.
They did. They loved it. They fucking loved it. It's so ridiculous. I mean, everyone's seen the first one, right? I feel weird like that we're kind of like hopping around and
we got to talk about 3 of them.
Yeah, and it's just like a weird thing. Like everyone
been talking for half an hour.
Everyone has to know the first one, right?
Yeah, if not, go watch it and then come back and listen.
Yeah, that's true. I do want to say, why does the boiler room look like the boiler room of the Titanic? Like, dude, that's the most industrial boiler room I've ever seen. I've been to boiler rooms in like schools. They don't look like that. They look like just fucking basements.
You haven't been to New Haven.
Oh. Well. And then imagine if like there were just a bunch of Irish immigrants down there when Nancy goes to the boiler room. Like in the Titanic.
Is that what happens in Titanic?
That's who was like living down.
I've never seen it.
It's just the history of the Titanic.
Well,
you don't need to see the film. They stuck all the Irish immigrants in the basement. And they were the first to die. And I think they fueled it too. Not their corpses, but they like shoveled stuff into it. Like they go down to battle and There's just a bunch of like Irish people dancing down there.
Potatoes.
I'm Irish. I'm allowed to say it. Yeah. And you know what else I found interesting? In their final battle in the basement, they're not using nightmare music. They're using like weird like 80s music.
Yeah.
Like it hadn't been established yet. I love seeing stuff like that. I don't know. It's pretty
You know what else is great about part 1 is they actually fucking explain things.
Yes.
Like she's able when she's able to pull him out or pull the hat out.
Dude, that made perfect
sense.
sense.
We know why Freddy's targeting her. Because the mom fucking killed him.
Yep. And without a mangle expert, they didn't need to like Nancy didn't need to go like, how can I get him out? And some lady was like, oh wait, I've got a book on dead guys that come into your dreams.
Exactly. Dude, she was just like, oh, he said his name was Fred.
Yeah.
He was wearing this, and the mom was like all shook, and she was like, you know something, and the mom revealed it.
And she grabbed the hat, and she had enough foresight, and she didn't even have to be like, hey audience,
I'm getting pumped up again.
I think I've discovered something. Like it was just known. Like she didn't have to say anything. Like she conveyed it with just acting. I guess that's what it's called. And then just letting them act in good writing
and character development because they developed the character of Freddy.
So
without treating the audience like idiots. What the hell?
Fucking button. Look at this fucking pocket. All right. Fucking.
How'd that happen?
I think I'm an Irish immigrant in the fucking bottom of the Titanic. So yeah, it was fucking awesome. Yeah, now I'm a lot higher on this after talking it out loud.
Oh, you're low on it?
No, I wasn't low on it, but I just was like, I want to see everything
before you make your final rating.
Because it's weird because like Freddy changes so much throughout the history of it, and like I just didn't know what's the real Freddy. Like the real Freddy's the one Wes Craven wrote,
right? It's this one,
but like at the same time, like I don't know which Freddy. I don't know. I kind of like Freddy. That's like
I do kind of like Wisecracking Freddy.
Bitch.
Well, when he says "Welcome to Primetime, bitch,"
yeah,
fantastic.
And I don't even think we've hit peak Freddy yet.
No, Freddy's dead as peak Freddy.
Yeah,
plays fucking Nintendo.
I'm so excited for that. Like I got to 3 and I was like, oh yeah, this is still like 2 is like the start of this escalation, and then 3 is like a plateau, right? Like you have 1
of Freddy. You're talking about? Well, how can you say that about 2? Because he's not in it.
Well, that's true. But he's also like, I'm coming into your body, boy.
Yeah, that's so... Does he even do that in any other ones?
No, of course not.
Because it's not Freddy.
Because it's not the fucking movie. But yeah, so did we hit everything we want to hit with this first one? I think we did. It was great. Mm-hmm. It explained everything without making you feel like a fucking idiot.
Yes. Great score.
Really effective scenes. Just about everything. And always like this super unsettling feeling and everything. Like in other ones, you'll be like, oh, okay, this is a dream, like immediately. And in this one, it kept you like,
you don't know if she's awake or not.
Like when the mom is drinking in the downstairs and she put like bars on the windows and shit. And she's like, what do you want?
Yeah.
To the daughter, I was like, oh, this has got to be a dream. And it wasn't. It was so weird. And then let's talk about just her getting pulled through the window of the house. Because that killed it. I hate that.
At the very end? Yeah. I don't like that ending
it's
either.
Oh, and guess who pitched that?
Shay.
Yeah. He's like, he had to have it in there. And he's like, it kind of looks cool.
Why?
He's
I
like,
don't get it.
No one does. Everyone in the interviews is like, yeah, we just did it because Bob wanted it. And Bob's like, well, it kind of looks corny now, but it's kind of the appeal. Nope.
And it's so clearly not a person that he's pulling through.
It's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. It looks like shit. And honestly, George Lucas this and just cut it. Just fucking do it. I don't give a shit. I want to know exactly.
Wait, wouldn't George Lucas do the opposite? And put in like a singing number?
He'd like CGI.
Yeah. Put in a band.
Just put that scene in 1,000,000 times.
There's actually a source right here that goes along with what you were saying, that many critics praise the film's ability to transgress the boundaries between the imaginary and the real, which it does.
Yeah. Like you don't. In the other ones, it's a lot more obvious. It's like immediately there's just smoke everywhere. like fog everywhere, and you're like, well, it's a fucking dream because they're in their house and it's covered in fog.
Right.
Like, but in this one, it left a lot
Yes.
to the imagination. And again, being able to pull Freddy out of his realm, like it made complete sense. Like I looked at this for the first time as just like a single movie. That's what was interesting about watching it this time. Like I did a single movie. Like, I don't know. It was just cool to look at it that way.
Standalone.
Yeah. It's like seeing, it's just good. Yeah. It's just, they did it really well. It's just a really well made movie. Yeah. So that's it. Let's see.
We didn't talk about John Saxon at all. Got anything
dude,
you want to say?
So fucking handsome.
Are you sure?
John Saxon?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has a hairpiece. And he brought 2 hairpieces to set and was like, Wes Craven, do you want a one with a little bit of gray in it or one with all color? And Wes Craven was like, I think he'd be all right with me saying this. They left it in. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, also New Line claimed they made no money on Nightmare on Elm Street 1.
Its box office was $25.5 million. They made it for 1.8.
He said they made no money off.
Well, he's an idiot. Who said that? Shay?
Yeah.
Someone call up Robert Shay and have him come on our show.
Yeah, I know. Now we get to number 2, which I really want to get into. I'm really excited to discuss part 2. This is good.
He's so handsome in this picture. That can't even be him.
That's
Look at him.
That's not him.
Because that's like a recent picture.
That's not him. That's not him. That's not him. We're looking at Bob Shay on the TV, and he looks like a like meat stuffed in a sock with a wig put on it. And then he just shows me his wiki picture, and he looks like $1 million. So after this, Wes Craven says he wants nothing to do with the series anymore. Mainly because Bob Shay owns it, and he's not gonna make shit for something he doesn't own.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah, totally. So they get a guy to write the screenplay. He was a salesman at New Line, no writing experience. He was part of their 16 millimeter distribution group. And they were like, hey, write a movie. So he did.
People are like shocked about like the president not having any experience. It's literally how the world works.
Yeah.
Like, I need somebody.
Let's just get somebody. And then the director of part 2 had the gall to say he didn't understand why people really liked the first one to begin with.
The director said that?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot. So Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. This came out in 85. Definitely seems a little rushed. Looks like they were trying to hit that market while they thought it was hot, even though it would last another fucking 10 years.
Yes. Did you see that even though Wes Craven was not invited back, he was allowed to read the script and offer notes on it?
Yeah.
Did you see what his note was?
No.
It was, please do not produce this screenplay.
No way.
Yes.
And you know what? That just fuels people sometimes. Like, you can't do that. Like, you're a fucking idiot. Okay. I'll make a fucking movie. And everyone fucking hates it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what happens. Like, Elm Street 2 gets a really bad rap, and pretty rightfully so.
It's terrible.
It's not good. Yeah, but it's tough to come after the original. But then again, they just didn't. So you know what this is a lot like to me? This is a lot like you have a championship team. Mm-hmm. Reminds me of like the Dallas fucking Mavericks after they won the championship in 11. You have this championship team. All the fucking horror fans are going to love this analogy. You have this championship.
Is Dirk Freddy? He has to be, right?
Sure.
Yeah, he's just a staple.
Yeah, because he's the only guy that stays. Okay, yeah, perfect. Dirk is Freddy. Freddy Dirk. Freddy Nowinski. No, but you have this championship team. They fucking hit a home run. They win the championship. And then instead of being like, bring everyone back, run it through again. Like, you just run it. Bring it back. We'll do another one. Bring everybody back. They're like, just fucking destroy the team.
Dude, that's why there's the phrase sophomore slump.
It's crazy. Why would you do that? You have Nancy.
Not asked back.
You have Wes Craven. Why would you not bring them back? That's all you need. And Freddy. That's it.
Did you know they started filming without Robert Englund?
No.
Yes. So.
Oh, because he was asking for more money.
He wanted more money. His agent was like, Freddy's huge. Like, we need lots of money and you need to pay us for it. And they were like, not a fucking chance, because they were like penny pitching. That's why they didn't bring Nancy back. Like, not a chance. So they had somebody else and they said like he couldn't walk right, or like he didn't walk goofy enough. Probably because he was able to pick up the glove.
He was just like, what? That's so amazing.
They said the guy said that he moved like Frankenstein's monster, just slow and rigid, so he wasn't like goofy and stuff. So they went to Shay and they demanded that they bring Robert back and they pay him whatever he wanted, which is ridiculous to pay somebody like that. But.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, but he was Freddy. But like, why would you try to shortchange Freddy? Like, skimping everywhere. Like, what a piece of shit move, really.
Yes.
And really, I think that's what I don't like most about 2. That's where I'm like slowly turning on to. I've been watching 2 a lot. It's on TV all the time now.
Part 2 is?
Yeah. And it just makes me laugh my ass off every time I see it. It's so absurd. But I never really, I just don't mind it that much. Like, I'm not like, it's a fuck this movie. But
I do not like it.
I like it less reading this shit because it's all done on purpose. It's not like, oh, Nancy couldn't make it, or like, Wes just had other shit going on. It's like Bob Shea was like, fuck everybody. I'm just going to make a shitload of money off this.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's
purposely done.
I like bad movies like Troll 2 when it's like an earnest attempt of trying to make a movie.
Yes. And this guy was just like, fuck it. They'll watch anything.
Yeah.
As long as Freddy's in it. They'll just watch it and accept it. And like, that's bullshit.
He might be right.
He is right. We're fucking doing a podcast. And we're like, I can't wait to talk about 2. But no, it fucking sucks. So yeah, we are like, oh my God, we have like no time. This is going to be a long episode. But so part 2 starts off with we meet, what's the guy's name? Jesse?
Yeah.
Jesse, he's just moved to town. He's having nightmares, of course.
He screams.
He says he's the original male scream queen.
I like it.
Yeah.
But I've never heard anybody male or woman scream like that.
No. Well, we have a friend that has screamed like that, like over stubbing his toe and stuff.
Like that? I've never experienced.
Oh, yeah. It's that bad. I know a man that screams like that. Like when he gets into like weird amounts of pain. It sounds exactly like that.
All right.
And you're like, what the fuck just happened? And it's like, oh, I stepped on something. What?
Oh, man. I'm going to go leave Legos out.
Dude, you'll hear it. But his family actually hears him scream, and they're like, hey, he's just having a bad dream.
That was very alarming.
Yeah, it was so alarming. Is Fu Manchu's the greatest cereal of all time?
Is Fu Manchu?
Yeah, did you see that?
I did.
The cereals are called Fu Manchus. CHEWS.
I thought you were asking me like you've had one. I'm like, I don't know.
What? Sean, what's gotten into you? So we meet this guy, Jesse. He's got this girl, Lisa. He's a little bit sweet on, sort of.
Jesse sweats more than any human being.
He sweats so much. And why did he look? Okay, so there's something really weird about this. In his dream, the first time you ever see him, he looks like the sweatiest, weirdest nerd you've ever seen in your life. And then for the rest of the movie, he looks like fairly normal. I mean, besides when he's in like short shorts and like,
yeah, I don't know if I agree with this.
Well, dude, he didn't look like the nerd on the bus. Dude, his hair was like combed over. It was like
that's true.
All sweaty and stuck down. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, by the way, Freddy's driving that bus.
Yeah.
Also, that's like the most you see Freddy until the next 45 minutes.
It takes forever.
He drives on top of a rock.
And I don't know where I put it, but we know Freddy. We love Freddy. So just give it to us. We don't need another backstory. Why are you recreating a different backstory?
So I'm just going to go out and say it. This movie's called Freddy's Revenge. He does not get revenge on anybody.
Who would he even be? There's no one even related.
There's nobody
to the
there.
first one.
It's so stupid. Why is it called that?
Jaws 5.
The only Jaws. The only relation is that Corpse Grinder. The only relation is
The horror show is the only podcast where you'll be interrupted by being like, "Is that Corpse Grinder?"
Be interrupted by me. Interrupt myself.
Host being like,
I was literally talking.
Is that Corpse Grinder?
Did you see that guy?
Yeah, he looked exactly like Corpse Grinder.
No, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the only relation to the first one is the house.
Yeah.
That family. Jesse's family now lives in Nancy's house.
Yeah. Which Jesse is told by a kid at school who at first you're like, oh, these two are going to hate each other. And then they're like chums. They're chums like the entire rest of the movie.
Oh, the dickhead kid?
Yeah.
Are they though? This is the biggest love-hate relationship I've ever seen.
It's so fucking weird. Like, it was so... Like, well, at the beginning, you're like, oh, these two fucking hate each other. Dude, the guy hits him in the head with a baseball and then, like, walks up to him and, like, basically slaps him in the face. Like, could you imagine that?
that sequence of events was so bizarre.
Yeah, they're playing baseball. The main job.
At school, in gym class.
He hits it. Jesse's just, like, staring at Lisa, horned up. And then the ball hits him in the head.
Yeah.
And he collapses.
And then he goes and, like, tags him out.
Yeah.
Because the guy overran the base.
Yeah.
Which is what you're supposed to do. And that guy pulls his pants down.
Yeah.
To which cuts to a girl. It's like, nice ass.
This movie's so stupid.
And then not only does he pull his pants down, you're like, okay, well, I guess he got him back. I guess they're friends. Then he just fucking Goldberg spears him.
Yeah.
It was the shittiest fight I've ever seen. They just roll on top of each other.
And also the coach is like, pay attention. And then just walks away.
And then he makes him do push-ups.
Yeah.
And then when they're doing push, like if you pulled my pants down and then speared me and then rolled on top of me and then I had to do like 5,000 push-ups, I'd be so fucking mad at you. And these guys are like, this is quite a predicament we got ourselves into.
Man, how long does this dickhead usually make us do this? Like they're having the time of their
nobody
life.
I'd be talking to you.
Dude, no way. I'd be so fucking
Also, if two kids get into a fight, making them do push-ups directly next to each other with no supervision
is the worst idea.
It's a terrible idea.
Also, why wouldn't you just stop doing it? Because they cut the gym teacher's inside.
He's in his room.
Fucking idiots.
But they aren't doing it. Sean,
no,
I didn't
they're
see
like
a single
shaking.
push-ups.
No.
Just laying there.
I do. We have like the same notes because my next note was Jesse wakes up the sweatiest human being ever. He has so much sweat all over him. And this movie is all just Freddy nightmares, like just nightmare sequences. Like Jesse like goes into his nightmare. Freddy shows up and is like, "You got the body, I got the brain. We got work to do, you and I." And then that's it.
Yes.
This is stupid.
Well, you don't have to tell me.
I'm getting more furious. I really need to talk these out before I do my letterbox.
Dude, sometimes I'll read them and I just want to like close my computer and want to lie down.
Because then we talk, and I sound like a normal person.
Right. No, that's why I feel that way. Like, what are you doing? Like,
you're embarrassing yourself. What are you saying? Yeah.
But yeah, he tells him he has the body. I've got the brains, and he like pulls the skin back on his head to show him he has the brains.
So, I mean, we'll skip ahead a little bit. I mean, Freddy plans on making this kid his avatar.
Yeah,
and that is ludicrous because he could just go in your dream and kill you.
I know,
which he does the whole movie.
I know.
And couldn't he just grab onto one of them and be like, go into the realm?
Yes. Of course he could.
All right. So
after he says that, the kid wakes up screaming again. Then he goes to school, falls asleep, wakes up screaming again.
With a snake on him.
And the teacher's mad at him. He's like, you want to play with animals?
Go to the circus.
Why is that snake out of the fucking...
There's a snake on him, and he just screamed like a woman.
He's scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he let out the highest pitched scream.
The teacher should be like, who did this?
Yeah. You want to play with animals? Fucking idiot.
Dude, playing.
Oh my God.
Also, that teacher plops a heart on the table like an absolute maniac.
Yeah. And then we get our dance sequence. He calls Lisa, tells her to come over, but she doesn't. And then his mom's like, you have to clean your room. This is the most unnecessary scene.
So the guys who made it saw Risky Business and were like,
I was going to tell you that.
Yeah, they're like, we need to put this in.
They were like, one of the guys in this was like, it was a really hot scene at the time, so we wanted to do it. Yeah, it was hot because it was
Tom Cruise in like a good song.
Yeah.
Classic pop Steve. Yeah.
Oh, man. And no out-of-town chicks sign on his door.
Yeah, no chicks. Oh, so we should get into...
It says out of town.
Oh, it does say
which
out of
makes
town?
me laugh because it's supposed to be checks. No out-of-town checks, like a bank. But he covered the E up with an I. Classic guy move. So it said no out-of-town chicks.
Yeah, that's what high school guys have.
Well, did you see Rod's signs on his door?
Nah.
It said, I gotta find it. It said no nerds, and it had like an X through a picture of a nerd.
That's fucking
And then it
awesome.
also said no turkeys. And it was an X through a picture of a real turkey.
Well, you know what? I don't want any fucking turkeys in my room either.
I guess not. Elm Street full of just whimsical signage on your bedroom door.
Yeah. So this movie had like really homosexual undertones, which that's fine.
Yeah.
But my problem with it is the people say that they didn't know that it was in there.
Yeah, and that's the only reason we're going to talk about it because it's very, there's so much gay innuendo and things that are said, like the board game in his bedroom is called Probe.
There's a fucking gay bar.
There's a gay bar.
Which Shay plays the bartender in.
Some guy, like so many package shots of this dude just like with his dick in like the tightest underwear I've ever seen in my life.
And this actor's openly gay.
Yeah.
Even he's like, anybody that's saying this is an idiot.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Yeah, that's what he's in the documentary. He even says, he's like, prepubescent kids on the internet call this the gay Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm pretty sure a bunch of grown men could have figured it out. And they interview everyone involved. And they're all like, we had no idea
That's
it was gay.
insane. Because
There's a gay bar.
the kid that plays Jesse, yeah, there's a gay bar that Shay plays the bartender. How can you say?
It's insane.
And the kid that plays Jesse, I can't think of his Mark Patton,
Yeah.
the actor that plays Jesse, was like, yeah, in that dance scene, he's like that wasn't improvised. He's like, they tell me in the script, bang your ass against the dresser 3 times, and then jump up and pretend to masturbate with the microphone.
And then it's fucking crazy.
Like again, I'm gonna reiterate.
The ass
Shay
scene?
did not know there was gay undertones, but he plays a bartender in a gay bar. And then they go to the gym teacher who's wearing a bondage outfit. He's wearing, dude, all was missing was a fucking gimp. Like, I don't know why he's wearing that. He's in the school still, too. Like, why is he there?
Well, it was his dream. I think that's where this movie makes no
because
sense.
he dies in the gym.
Yeah, he makes no sense. It makes no sense because it was like partially a dream because they jumped from the gay bar to it's terrible.
But the gay bar was his dream.
I think so.
Right.
And then
Because the gym teacher's there in his bondage.
well, that's the
but then it goes to the school.
It's Jesse's dream to start, and then it somehow transfers to this guy's dream, and then somehow it is real life, and Jesse is walking around with the fucking Freddy glove.
Yes. And the gym teacher's at the school wearing bondage.
Yeah.
He's not dead yet because Freddy has to shoot like tennis balls at him for 5 minutes. Just cover him, smother him with balls.
It's so weird.
And then they bring him into the shower.
Yeah.
So Freddy like ties him up with a jump rope.
Yeah.
Drags him into the shower. And then just strips him naked.
Which was the same effect as the body bag in the first one.
It was,
Yeah.
except this was
It's stupid.
grown man naked being whipped with a towel in his butt.
And and then he just slices him once in the back and it's over. It's really bizarre. And the even more bizarre part is me and Joe watched part of the documentary actually right before we recorded. The writer was like, yeah, there's gay undertones. Like, look at the
only
fucking
one
movie.
guy, the guy that wrote it.
And yet
Nobody
everyone else involved.
No. Well, what does that one guy say? He's like, either we're all incredibly naive or we're all gay.
Yeah, we're all latently gay.
What? What are you saying?
It makes no sense. Because if you're gay, you're like, let's make a gay movie.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
It's fine. So to clear up, me and Sean are not alarmed that this was a gay movie.
No.
We're alarmed that these people are saying that they didn't know.
6 grown men are sitting in this documentary, like scratching their heads, like, holy mackerel, this is the first I'm hearing. Will you say, excuse me, sir?
Insane.
It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And not to mention Mark Patton is openly gay. Like they're like, I think they said he's openly gay, but he wasn't
at the time.
But
well, they were in the documentary. One of the guys was like, "Yeah, we had an openly gay actor." So I don't know if he was at the time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Regardless,
it's
Bob Shea played a gay bartender.
Dude, he tells a story in this documentary about. We're probably just talking about the documentary, but fuck it. Dude, he talks about no one wants to deal with Bob Shea. That's very clear in this documentary. That's what it's great for. It's great to see Robert Englund act like a smug asshole and be like, oh, in this scene. And Bob Shea be like, oh, I was asked to be an actor. And then the director's like, he wanted to do it. So I just told him, go get an outfit and come back. I'll put you in. That's what happened. The director, he wanted to be in it. So the director's like, I don't know, man. Like, go to the pleasure chest and pick up like some bondage shit, and I'll put you in this scene.
Is that actually what the place was called?
Yeah, it's a pretty famous,
really?
Yeah, like lingerie, like sex store. So he sends them there, and Bob Shea brings his daughters, who were like 9 and 7 at the time, into the pleasure chest. Yes. And he's like, oh yeah, my daughter was like, oh dad, look at that one. That one looks fun. And then he's like, oh yeah. And then the store attendant was like, you should make them leave. Because it's not like it's just leather.
Can we call protective services on him now?
Retroactively.
Yeah, just show them this.
It's fucking crazy. Brought a 7 and a 9-year-old in. And probably because he was like, I gotta get this quick so I could get in my scene. He's probably like so hard up to get in this movie.
I hate him.
I despise him from these movies. It's very clear he's an asshole. So the dance scene we just talked about.
Also, wait, why can Freddy only enter Jesse's dreams in this movie?
I don't think he can. I don't know. They don't explain it because he never enters anyone else's dreams. It's always like he's in Jesse's dream and then somehow transfers to another person's. Like he always starts in Jesse's and then somehow.
Well, who else does he go to?
Oh no, because Jesse turns into Freddy.
Yeah,
and that's what's hard to tell. That's what's hard to distinguish.
Because Freddy like needs to feed on fear. He said, or they say at some point. So he
except
like,
at the end when it's just like, I love you, Jesse.
Yeah, because love defeats him.
Love is the answer.
That's so fucking stupid.
That's not the song that's gonna save this movie, but I do have another song.
I forgot you said that.
It's gonna save the end for you, but it's not that song. I do have a good joke. I have a great joke. We get in the house, it's like boiling. It's like 97 degrees. And I'm like, oh, this is a dream. It's not. Just have a really hot house and no one's alarmed by it. They're just like, it's really hot. And this bird starts attacking the dad in the dumbest scene of all time.
Okay, first of all, there's like penis clocks on the wall. Did you notice that?
Nope.
Second.
Oh, it's not a gay movie.
When I was reading it, like people were like, "Do you see like the phallic symbols on the wall?" I was like, "Yeah, now I do."
Is it crazy?
Yeah. That bird. So the bird escapes. It's like a normal little bird.
Yeah.
And it attacks a dad. I've never seen a smaller cut in my entire life. Dude, it's so tiny.
If a parakeet hit your face, you would swat it and it would be dead and you would not fall. And this dad takes a tumble like he was just shot in the
head. But like they don't even like exaggerate the cut. It's literally like that's the most realistic part of the movie. Because it's so fucking tiny.
Yeah, and then the bird explodes into a giant flame. And the dad's like, it's gotta be gas. He's looking for a gas leak in that.
That's what my dad would do.
Yeah, I know, that's what I thought about. I was like, this is Joe's dad 100%. Especially when he's like, this is all your fault.
Yeah, dude, blame me. Yeah.
Here's a joke. Ready? Bird attack. Why don't we call this movie the Amityville Horror?
Jesus Christ.
Amityville.
I get it. I didn't even know there was a bird attack in Amityville.
I don't know. They always have birds like hitting the window.
Oh.
So we're 30 minutes in and we haven't seen shit. Ain't seen shit. Freddy's come into dreams and he's just been like, hey.
That joke is worse than Tom Thumb.
Helmetyville. But we haven't seen, all we know is Freddy's around. We have no idea what he's doing. He hasn't killed the gym teacher yet. That's the next scene. We haven't seen shit.
No.
30 minutes in.
Oh, this movie's boring.
Yeah.
This is only 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
What happens for the next 45 minutes?
Same thing.
I'm like almost done with my notes here.
I mean, there's just stupid shit because you get the whole. I have no idea whose dreams they're in because you're jumping around. The gym teacher gets killed. Great. Oh, Jesse
find Jesse.
Grady's room, and he's like, he's telling people that he's killing. He's like, I just killed the gym teacher.
They found him on the side of the road naked.
Yeah. So he goes to he runs away to Grady's, who's the bully, right? Rod Grady or whatever. He runs to this guy's house and he's like, I just killed the gym teacher. I need a place to like.
But that's a little later because they have the party first. The party starts first.
Oh, is that later?
Yeah, because they go back to the school and Grady is sitting at the cafeteria and he's talking with so much fucking food in his mouth. He has like an entire sandwich shoved into his mouth. He's trying to have a conversation.
It's so
funny. And then the kid's
weird.
like, hey, I forget what Grady's saying to him, but he says something that's clearly annoying and like not something anybody would want to talk about. Mm-hmm. And the kid's like, why don't you just shut up for a second? And Grady's like, fine. And like, has a big hissy fit. But he still has so much food in his mouth. It's like spraying everywhere.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Oh, yeah. So we do have the party at Lisa's house.
Yeah. And he kisses Lisa, and it's the most awkward kiss scene I've ever seen.
It's terrible. And his tongue turns into like, is it like a hand? It looks like Freddy's hand, like coming out.
It's
just a disgusting tongue.
Yeah, it's like a fucking slug.
So gross.
So long.
It's so weird. He also, didn't he show up to her house like covered in blood? And it's like, Freddy's inside of me. She's like, oh, okay. Like she believes him.
She's so.
If a dude shows up with blood.
Did we say how much she looks like Meryl Streep yet?
Dude, like dead ringer. Yeah. Like it's insane. It's so weird. And they said that's why they hired her. Because she looked like a good actress. Fuck. I got to get a job in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Let's see. So they're at the party, the classic boiling pool water. This thing just jumps around because you have no idea where Freddy is. Freddy's inside of him. Here's the other thing. Do people see Freddy or do they see him?
I have no clue.
Parts of it make it seem like they're seeing him. And like Freddy's just in his body.
Yeah, because Freddy cuts his way out.
Yeah.
Yes, they would be seeing him. Also, why is he not dead when Freddy cuts his way out?
Yeah, because I don't know, man. And so then Freddy's out. Freddy's on the loose, right? Yeah. This is all terrible. Oh, and I hate the pool scene when Freddy terrorizes the party.
I hate before that because they're at it's a high school party.
Yes.
The parents are there. And the dad's like,
let's fuck.
Yeah, the dad wants to fuck. So he goes upstairs with the mom. And there's about like 100 kids downstairs.
So many.
They like all are like quiet and huddled.
Yeah, they're like shh.
And as soon as the light goes out, they're like, yeah. And they turn the music up to like 11.
Yeah.
And they're having the most wild, raucous party. And the dad's like, what do you think they're doing down there? And I was like, yeah, they're fine, just having fun.
That dad was so horny, he did not care. He's like, oh, baby. What the fuck? So Lisa and Freddy battle it out. Freddy / Jesse. Who fuck knows? They battle it out. This is when I actually decided that I forgot about this scene when I wrote my Letterboxd review because I'd probably give it 0 stars right now. Because this scene got me so mad.
You gave it 2.5 and said it will go higher as you talk about it.
Well, I kind of liked it. Dude, they're like in the house. Her and Freddy are battling. Like, this is like life or death. And Freddy's just standing. This is the worst. Freddy is really bad in this. He's just not Freddy. Like, there's just nothing about it. And Freddy's standing there and then just knocks all of the china off a shelf. Just smashes it. And not like as he's running after her, they're like having a stare down.
Yeah, he's doing
like
it.
the Wild West. And he's just like, how do you like that?
Take that, bitch.
I'm about to murder you, but I'm also going to smash your parents' china. Some of it. Not all of it. That'd be rude. Like, it's so fucking infuriating. Like, why would that happen? Why would Freddy ever do that?
I don't know.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Why is he just not killing them in their dreams?
And then he hears Jesse's like inside Freddy, and he's like,
Yeah, because you see Freddy's eye. Oh, wait.
no, that's earlier.
Wait. Freddy's inside Jesse.
Yes.
And then Jesse gets inside Freddy.
Yeah. Somehow. Because Freddy all of a sudden starts talking in Jesse's voice and is like, kill me, Lisa, please kill me.
Yes.
And she's like, I'm never going to kill, which is insane. Because it's Freddy Kreuger and he's going to kill her. And she's like, I'm not going to kill you. I love you. And then Freddy just jumps out of a window of the fucking door. He's just like a cat. And this scene is so bad because it was like, I don't even know. He's chasing the kids around the pool in the most lame fashion I've ever seen. There's 100 kids at this pool. He kills 2 of them. He kills fucking 2 of them. And the rest of the time, he's just walking around like a rabid dog. Like,
I know.
Or like not even a rabid dog, but just like an animal that like shouldn't be, is somewhere it shouldn't be. Like if a fox got caught in like your fence in your backyard, like it's not dangerous, but it's like, oh, what the fuck am I doing? It's just running around and all the kids would be like, what the fuck? That's what's happening. Like no one's like that terrified. No one's trying to escape. It's pool fences. Like just jump over it.
I know.
And then Freddy's just like, "Moo," and then like shoots up a fire door and walks through it. And everyone's like, what? Like the dad comes out with a gun and he's like, where'd he go? And it's a good question because no one knows.
Yeah, nobody knows. Also, whatever. We forgot to mention that they also found Nancy's diary.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, they're like, well, this is what happened.
A medical expert, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
To explain everything. What about the dogs with baby faces? Did you catch that? That's the weirdest fucking thing. Best part of the movie. So Lisa's at Chateau de Freddy. This is the final battle. Freddy Combat. Freddy Combat.
Wait. Is that the song that would have made it better?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm still not there yet. Here's the song that's going to make it better. So these two just run around like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
For the entire time.
Wait, when does Freddy say, help yourself, fucker?
Help yourself?
Fucker.
I don't know. I remember him saying, you're all my children now.
Yeah, I was at the pool.
Yeah, I don't know that fucker.
Which would have been a cool line if I wasn't bored out of my mind.
If he wasn't just like not killing anyone.
Not killing any of them?
Or like taking them as prisoner, nothing.
Imagine being at a pool and some guy said that. Just proclaims that. Okay.
Get lost. Yeah. Lisa screams, I love you. And then does the whole like, I don't believe in you. I'm going to take him away from you. And that's what starts killing Freddy. And then she's like, come back to me, Jesse. I love you. Come back to me. And this is where... And it worked because I did it because I was bored also. I just remembered because I played the song Baby Come Back because all I could think, because she was like, Jesse, come back. And I was just like, Jesse, come back, come back.
Is that the song?
Yeah. And I played it at the end and it made the end so much better. It was so fucking good. I put it on Snapchat.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I don't know if it's still up there or not. But I put it on Snapchat because I was like, oh, this is so great. Baby, come back. Any kind of fool could see there was something in. But yeah, Jesse come back. Makes the end so much better. Baby come back. Baby come back. They should just play ballads the whole time.
Or Jesse's girl.
Is that the do 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 do? Yeah. That should have been the end. Jesse, come back. And then when Jesse is back magically, driving his beater car away. So anyway, Freddy just magically catches fire and melts.
Yep.
And Jesse's there.
Yeah.
Like a phoenix. Rising from the ashes.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just at that point I rewound it and I just played "Baby Come Back" over the end of the movie, and it was a lot better.
Well, there you have it, folks.
And then they just repeat Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1 for the ending. Yeah. With it's literally scene for scene. Jesse walks out of the house with his mom, who's like, "Oh, see you later, honey." And then he gets in a vehicle, and then the vehicle starts speeding, and that's it. I mean, this one you get a little more because Jesse freaks out, and they're like, "Jesse, it's okay, it's over." And then Freddy's glove comes through the girl, killing her, and then it speeds off into the desert. Why does Freddy love driving into the desert so much?
How did he park that in the bus on top of a rock the first time?
Well, the earth broke around him.
Oh, that's what happened?
Yeah. You couldn't tell through the giant red fog that just... I
thought he just somehow drove it.
It was such an unnecessary scene.
Going back to this real quick, because I forgot to mention this while we were talking about it. David Chaskin, one of the writers, said that... I think he's the one that admitted that it had the homosexual undertones. That was him. He said that he conceived this movie that Freddy had to enter Jesse's body to interact with the real world as a metaphor for repressed homosexuality. So if that is true, why would he not just tell that to people while they're making, like, hey, this is what we're talking about, right?
He clearly did. He was probably in the background.
You think he did, or you think afterwards he was like, I better make up something.
They're really mad about this. No, he's probably in the background the whole time, being like, this is.
So it says here, basically Jesse's a gay kid in denial about his sexuality, and his homosexual urges manifest themselves via Freddy.
I don't know.
Also, if you want to write a movie like that, why are you using Freddy?
My homosexual urges kill people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't buy that, actually. I think he made that up after the fact. I'm championing homosexual.
Because again, why wouldn't he just tell everybody involved, like, this is what's happening?
Yeah, I don't think that's real. I think that's after the fact, after people were like, because I think people.
You think Robert Englund would be okay with it?
I think a lot of people give it credit for doing that, like in the 80s, and I think he was like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's more what it was, because there's no chance. And why would you make this the movie to be like, I'm gonna take a stance?
Yeah, because the first one was what?
We're gonna send a message to America. through Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge.
And at that time, sequels were like, nowadays sequels are like, they have to outperform.
Yeah.
Back then, like Friday Part 2 didn't do better than the first one.
No. So on to Part 3. We're getting late.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about it as a show.
Yeah, we're not going to cover it a lot. We did it in the Part 3s. I think we talked about it pretty extensively because it is one of our favorites. First boobs in a nightmare.
Yeah.
They were great. Watch those again. So in that, we see boobs because one of the kids is he's hot for the nurse and they're about to do it. And it turns out the nurse is Freddy. Yeah. So the question, this is really the only question I have on Part 3. Who would you rather have sex with? Freddy Kreuger as a woman or Tall Man as a woman?
Freddy. Tall Man's gross.
Yeah. And Freddy's just a dream. So it's not like you're actually having sex.
Yeah, a wet dream. You have a wet dream.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Wait. Was it in one of these movies where somebody was like, wet dreams?
Yes. I forget which one. Now you say that, there's definitely a wet
somebody
dream.
was like, the only dreams I like are wet dreams. Like, no one likes a wet dream. Not that I ever had any. Did you ever have a wet dream?
I did.
You did?
I think so.
That's interesting. I never had one. I was like, yeah. The video in school freaked me out, though, because they make it like it's like the biggest deal of all time. Like the kid's like, holy shit, I've made a horrible mess. He's like, pulls off all of his sheets and shit. And the mom catches him and is like, oh, I know what you've done. Like if I saw my kid walking with all the sheets and like everything off,
you just assume he peed.
I'd be like, holy shit, kid barfed the bed, pissed himself, pooped himself. That's fine. Fucking wet dream. Oh man, can we review a high school sex video?
Yeah, definitely. Dude, oh my God. Do you remember? Because we watched it in 6th grade at Norton.
Yeah.
I
You
remember-
start in 3rd grade or 4th grade. 4th,
Yeah.
5th, 6th. Yeah.
Yeah.
You start
give
in
you
4th
like
grade.
diagrams. You have to like, color them in.
4th grade. Sex ed, everyone. They're like, yeah, we just deal with
Which
it.
is weird because I taught elementary school for
Yeah.
6 years. I taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Never once.
Really?
Yeah.
So in 4th grade, we started with like, it was like more like, and it was separate rooms,
Yep.
boys and girls, and and 4th grade was like more just deodorant and body hair.
Yeah.
Like they're like,
Yeah. You
get ready for this.
Get some hair.
And then, oh, and by the way, here's some promotional deodorant that are going to lock you into buying it forever. And then 5th is like, I don't even know. Maybe it was just 5th and 6th. And then, because then the next one is like, oh no, 5th is sex separate. You get into the sex part of it, the reproduction and the boners and stuff.
Dude, so in one of those videos, they have like, because they had like actors that like showed you parts, like the wet dream part.
Yeah.
And they had one where it was like, you might start getting boners. And like they had like the school picture.
photo.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
And the kid like zooms in on his face. It's like the Jaws shot, you know? He's like, oh God.
You just get the raging boner in the middle of a class photo. And I'm pretty sure they're like, I remember like afterwards, the teacher's like, all right, so like if you get an erection, how do you like, what are ways to like deal with getting random erections? And no one answered, of course. The answer was wear baggy clothes. And like
Was
looking,
that the answer?
yeah, looking back on it, baggy clothes is the worst idea. Because it's just going to move the clothes.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been like, wear the tightest jeans possible.
Get smaller dicks.
Oh, man. So that's Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Elm Street Part 3 is great because Nancy's back.
Nancy's back. It adds more to the Freddy mythos.
The true Freddy mythos. Yep. And I did find it a little bit more boring than the first movie.
So some people consider this the best one.
Yeah.
It's certainly probably the best of the sequels.
Yeah.
We'll see how New Nightmare holds up.
Yeah.
And Freddy's Dead's fun. But it's number one's
best
better.
Well made. The scene, I mean, the scene where the boy is the puppet and Freddy is in the sky
playing mannequin
is like, that's what Freddy's about. Like, that is a dream.
Yeah.
That is a true dream. And yes, a true translation of a dream killing somebody in real life. Like, he's in the fucking sky. Like,
yes.
It's awesome.
The Freddy snake.
Freddy's snake is great.
Did you see they had to make it look less pink? Because everybody was like, this is a penis. That's true.
Dude, you see the last movie. We can't do this again.
Yeah. The crew was like, Freddy is a penis. Like, he's veiny and this is pink. And they're like, they're like, we can't rebuild this. We don't have like any time. So they just poured like green goo over it to make it look not as pink.
So they just dressed Bob Shea up in a sock and like that cat, that picture of the cat, like it's like a cat in a sock. Have you ever seen that?
Wait, what?
It's like they put like they cut off a sock and then it's a picture on the internet and it's like just a cat's head out of a sock. So it's like this cylindrical cat. It's the weirdest thing.
No.
You've never seen that?
No.
It's the best thing ever. That's kind of what it looked like though. And that's what I would do with Bob Shea. You got the Welcome to Primetime bitch, which is good.
Yep.
But again, not a lot of dialogue. It kind of reins it back in to the first one where Freddy, he says, welcome to Primetime, bitch. And that's kind of it for the silly stuff that I remember.
Yeah. Well, you know what scene's great is when his claws turn into syringes.
Oh, fuck. That is a great, that scene is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's just crazy what they do. Like,
did we mention that Wes wrote the screenplay?
No, he didn't direct it, right?
He did not direct.
He just wrote the screenplay, which shows you it goes a long way. It goes a very, very, very long way.
Nancy dies in this one.
Yep.
Which is what Wes had to do all along in his original Dream Warriors sketch, because I forgot where I wrote it, but I think he said something like, if you survive in the original and appear in a sequel, like you're not going to make it to the end.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I
found it. He said, the character continually surviving potentially distracts from and weakens the true star, who is the killer, which would be Freddy.
Oh shit, son. That is awesome.
And he also said, if Nancy,
it's true.
It is true. And he said, if Nancy dies, it raises the dramatic stakes because if she can die, then all bets are off for any characters. So you don't know who's going to make it. Like if you know the main character is safe, there's no suspense. If you kill off the main character, then you're like, well, who the fuck's going to die next? And I love it. I love his thing.
I love it. And also this movie just goes to show you like, why didn't this happen in part 2? This is the sequel to part 2. Or part 1.
Yeah, this should have been
so
part
good.
2.
It makes so much sense. The last of the kids on Elm Street, like when she says that, you're just like, holy shit. Like it's a little goofy with like the fucking magic and shit, but like
I mean,
whatever. It's a guy that kills you in your dreams.
Part 2, yeah.
You gotta like that's what I think you gotta do. I think and that's kind of where I give part 2. But see, he doesn't even attack you in your dreams. I have nothing to say anymore. I'm just gonna blow my brains out. Guys, that's it.
Did you know in the sex scene they wanted Freddy to have the boobs? like actually have the boobs.
That would have been awesome. I'm actually furious that is not what happened. So fucking mad.
Sorry, can I add one more?
Yeah.
For part 3. I had some like tidbits of information.
Yes.
Zaza Gabor, rest in peace, is in this movie.
Yes.
Dick Cavett personally picked her because he thought she was the dumbest person he'd ever met in his life. And he knew Freddy was going to kill her in the movie.
Fucking rude as fuck. It's the rudest thing I've ever heard in my life. Except basically everything we said about Robert Englund and Bob Shea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought she was good in it.
Kincaid, we didn't mention. Do you like Kincaid, the character?
Yes. This is also the first one with the bastard son of 1,000 maniacs or 100 maniacs.
Yes. And you heard about why Kincaid got the part, right? I think we might have talked about it on our part 3 episode.
We might have. What was it though?
He was like soaked in, like he missed the bus and he had to walk there in rain. And like when he got there, the director said something that one of the agents said something that pissed him off. And he was just like, fuck you. And you're like, all right, you got the part.
He's great in the documentary too. He's like real, like, yeah. Honestly, everyone seems pretty cool from the documentary, except the people in 2 who all seem pretty depressed about the film. Except the guys that made a ton of money off of it.
Yeah.
They're pretty happy about everything. I think it's better than the first one. Any more factoids?
70% of the screenplay Wes Craven wrote for part 3 had to be rewritten because everybody thought it was way too dark.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but
yeah. I mean, it could have used a little more darkness.
Honestly, this makes like I've rewatched Scream, I've rewatched Nightmare 1 and 3, and I appreciate Wes even more than I did before.
Yeah, well. Makes one of us. I'm kidding. Wes is really good. And I honestly watching these and seeing the dramatic changes when he's not involved, I'm actually more impressed with him as a writer, I think.
Yes.
I think that's what's most impressive about him. And listen, I'm not a fucking film person. I couldn't tell you what a fucking director even does. Like, you know what I mean? Like a director could do anything. Toby Hooper didn't do shit on Poltergeist. He's a fucking director.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's just weird shit that goes on in movie making. So I'm not going to be like, the director is so good in this. Like, we don't know that. Like he could have been a fucking idiot and the producer could have directed the whole thing. But I think writing is there. Like you see the writing, and when you see 1, 2, and then 3, you're like, oh, he's a brilliant fucking writer.
Yes. Like script goes along.
Yeah. And I think he was even restricted. I mean, I don't know if he said this or not, but he was probably restricted a bit in his script on 3 because they're like, this dude is hot. Like, I don't think Wes writes Welcome to Primetime, bitch.
That was ad-libs.
Oh, was it? Mm-hmm. Okay, of course. Fucking Robert Englund. But he doesn't write that. Like, that's not what he does. But Freddy gets that character and gets the marketing and stuff.
Dude, maybe Robert's right. He was like in the character, like
maybe. But everyone hates that about it. And then in the next fucking however, in 6 movies, he's just like, boogie, 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 boo, bitch. It's just insane.
I can't wait to do.
I know. I'm really
Freddy's
excited.
Dead.
I'm really excited. It's going to be awesome.
Score.
I'm so excited. I haven't seen any of those. Like, I've seen 1 through 3 so many times. I have not watched like anything after that, like more than once, I don't think.
2 and 5 are my least watched. Freddy's Dead might be my most watched.
Yeah, I've legitimately watched 2 like 6 times.
That's insane. I would turn the TV off, throw it out my window.
Well, I'm always like, hey, come watch this. Like to my wife. It's like the dancing scene. She's like, all right. What, why? Or I'll like be videoed. I will like sit there and wait. I remember I did this for my friend Shelly. I sat there and watched the entire thing just so I could send her a video of the dancing instead of just sending her a YouTube video.
So many clips of it. Literally all it pops up when you type in Nightmare 2.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Serial Killer 1 in the books. We have 2 more episodes next week, parts 4, 5, and 6.
Can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. So join us then. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. That's the best way to support the show. If you can support monetarily, patreon.com/IHateHorror. We've got some bonus episodes. I released the Stanny outtakes yesterday. And then we'll be doing some bonus episodes after we record these Elm Street episodes. So we'll have probably 2 or 3 bonuses coming in the next few weeks. And then store.IHateHorror.com, I think. Just go to IHateHorror.com. There's a link to the store there. We've had shirts up there. So check that out. What else do we plug? Thanks, Harley Poe. That's getting quieter and quieter and shorter and shorter. So it's just gonna be. But really, thank him for that song. I mean, that song's
a great song.
And then do we? I feel like I'm missing something. Besides our social media. Okay, no, we're good.
Yeah.
All right. I am on Twitter at I Hate Horror Show, on Instagram and Snapchat at I Hate Horror.
I'm at Jovi421, Instagram Boognish1985, Snapchat Horror Show Joe.
And add me on Snapchat. I am active now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. It's awesome. Glad that we're back on the movies now after a little break there. So, yeah, stay tuned next week for Serial Killer Part 2.
Yes.
For Joe,
This
is Sean. For Joe, this is Sean. Stay weird.
Thank you.
Adios.